So in the midst of another international break, and my cloud team languishing nowhere near the top of the table, it's time to have a look and see how things could have improved with a look at the team of the season so far. Who would be joining Onana, Romero, Palmer, Salah and Haaland? Let's find out. Let's get into it. Hello everybody. Welcome to Friday Night Not Live from the Cloudy Sky Fantasy Football Show. International break, day 83 I think. No, not quite, about day 7. So not much to do, but as promised on midweek matchups this week, I thought we'd have a look at the team of the season so far. Definitely not mine. I've got a couple of my initial drafts and the first game week 1 team to show you in a minute. Plus my current side, which has had so many changes but is still not doing very well. And then I've put together what is the team of the season, and you'll be surprised to see by how many players we could have had in it. None really that shocking. The odd one, but not too many. You can see by the thumbnail on the screen, we have there 5 of that team, and these are the guys that would have been captain most often. We have goalkeeper Onana, Christian Romero defence, Cole Palmer in midfield, and 2 strikers of Salah and Haaland, and nobody can be all that shocked to say that those 5 people would have been in the team of the year. And there they are. So without further ado, let's get into where the rest of it looks like. So these were my first, second and final drafts that we were putting together at the same time as putting the game together. So on the left was the first draft I put out once we'd created the game all those months ago. And I actually had Onana in goal. I had a back 4 of Saliba, Romero, Dunk and Anderson. You can see there that was at his time still at Crystal Palace. He hadn't moved. I had Rodri in midfield. He hadn't got injured. Gross in midfield, he hadn't been sold to Bayern Munich. Bruno Guimaraes and Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe was mooted as being moving from Arsenal to Fulham, but was still an Arsenal player then. And then up front was the attacking talent of Haaland and Salah. And then sort of a week after that, we got to the second draft. This is where the game was... I think this was the first one I put together for the first video show that we did. So I changed the keeper there to Henderson. I think what happened, Smith Rowe had moved, so he was definitely playing for Fulham, even though he's still Arsenal on the screenshot there, which meant that I had a Fulham player for the first Friday night game. So at the back, I'd kept Saliba, Romero and Dunk. Anderson had obviously been out of favour and he'd moved on to Branthwaite. We didn't know at the time he was injured. Rodri stayed there, Smith Rowe and Guimaraes were still in, and this meant I'd had money to upgrade a midfielder. I think this was when we knew that Rodri was going to be injured, and Watkins was in because I think Villa had a single game day at the end of August or early September against Ipswich, if I remember rightly. So that was my second draft. And then I must have been on some David Coote powder, I think, for the final draft that you can see on the right of the screen there. And this was the one that was played in game week 1. So I'd kept Henderson in goal. Gerald Kwanzaa had made a move into defence for this side. He was mooted as playing for Slots Liverpool. He did play in the first game. Unfortunately, he only played 45 minutes. Then he was hooked and he hasn't been seen since. I'd kept Saliba, Romero. I'd obviously had money there to move in Gvardiol, who was an inspired pick. He no spoilers really that he's in the team of the season. So, and then look at that midfield. What happened to that? Smith Rowe disappeared. Guimaraes stayed, but I'd McAllister and Rice. What was I thinking? Who knows? But there they both were, and they both got 2 pointers. None of them really did much for the time I had them or since. Declan Rice even managed to get himself sent off. So up front, we'd had a change. I've got an Isak. He was highly popular. Newcastle were playing Southampton. Muniz had come in for me as the single game day on that Friday match away at Manchester United. And of course, I'd kept the robot. Oh dear, if only we'd known. And this is how the current team looks. This is my team as of game week 11. And as you can see, there's only 2 people there that have remained from the game week 1 team, which is Romero and Haaland. And we're still not doing all that well. And as you can see from the state of that, it's still not very good now. So Dibbling and McNeil, well, Dibbling's not playing, McNeil's been injured. Muric is getting saves, but Ipswich are terrible. There's no clean sheets really come in there. I'd really like to change a good half of that team, to be honest. And there is an opportunity coming up, as we've discussed previously, is West Ham look like they've got some game days ahead. Have I got enough budget if I move Mbeumo? Possibly not. So it could be that Haaland could be the man to go. But we'll get into that next week on... It'll be Friday Night Live next week, and we'll have an update on where the team looks. So, this is the overall leaderboard. See the Bailey brothers doing well at the top there. So we have Scott on 1,080 points and Duncan in second place on 1,058. And I have my team there, highlighted in red at the top, 137th with 911 points. So, 2 numbers to remember there, 1,080, which is Scott, he's top of the shop, and mine is 911 at 137th. So this is the team of the season so far. I'll read through it and then we'll see how these guys have performed in their game weeks for us. So in goal we have Onana, back 4 of Gvardiol, Romero, Gehi and Aina. Midfield 3 of Palmer, Kovacic and Smith Rowe. And front attacking 3 of Haaland, Salah and Chris Wood. And that team, if you hadn't made any changes, that would have scored you 1,129 points for the season so far, of which 328 would have been captaincy points. We can see here we've captained Onana 5 times, Romero 5 times, Palmer, Haaland and Salah 4 each. And it's probably fair to say that if Rodri hadn't have been injured, he would have probably played more game time than Kovacic. Whether he'd have scored the same number of points or not is debatable, but I think it's probably a fair comment to say that he would have been playing. And we wouldn't have been able to afford that team because it'd have been, instead of 49.8 million, it'd have been 50.2. So we'd have been over budget. But then if we have a look at one of the players that's in the team, and it's Gehi, he's one who scored 50 points overall, but we haven't used him as a captain on any day. So we could have downgraded him to somebody at 2.9 to save the money for Kovacic to become Rodri. So, as discussed previously, we could have put Van Heck in that position. I haven't got his overall points to date, but it's not far behind Gehi's, and he hasn't played in every game. And he would also be in position ready for the upcoming single game day, which I think is Friday the 29th of November. They play at home to Southampton. So that's the overall team, and it's fair to say we could have picked something along those lines. Onana has been popular in goal. He started off with a single game day, and he's had other, if not single, at least low number of their teams playing on a day, mainly because United have been in the Europa League and a lot of their games have been moved to Sundays. Gvardiol and Romero have both been popular. They're in the high echelons of ownership. Gehi, Crystal Palace started the season on the back of a very good end to last season. Gehi had an excellent summer with England, so there's no reason why he couldn't have been picked. The passing was there at the end of last season. Aina, he could have been any one of Forest defenders really. They had good attacking numbers at the end of last season. All were cheap in this game. We know that Murillo was a captain for me on their single game days. So you could have had an Aina. Milenkovic was another one who's reasonably cheap. And they bought Moreno from Villa. So you could have gone that way as well. In the middle of the park, Smith Rowe was obviously a popular move at 3.0. When he moved to Fulham, he was going to be playing sort of behind a striker there, and so that's proved. 51 points to his name. Kovacic, as previously discussed, could have been Rodri, and Palmer. Oh, I mean, look at that. He's got 17 points as captain, and a 29, and a 9, and a 2. Fair enough, the 9 and the 2 we did have the same elsewhere, but that 17 and 29 is 46. That's 92 points just as captaincy on those 2 days. Then up front, Haaland has got 3 hat-tricks, 2 braces, at least. And that's 106 points, of which we've captained him 4 times for 20, 35, 45, 55, 110 points just on his captaincy days. And then Salah, again, we've captained him on 13, 14, 19 and 11, so that's 20, 47, so 94 points as captain we've had him there for. And then Chris Wood, what a revelation that man has been. He has scored 75 points, and those back-to-back, did he get a goal and a brace back-to-back on Monday night and Friday night football when they played Palace and Leicester, and anybody that brought him in there has done really, really well. So, not beyond the realms of possibility you could have picked that or a similar team. I think the popular ones would have been Onana, Gvardiol, Romero, Palmer, Smith Rowe, Haaland and Salah. So that's 7. If you were lucky enough to stumble along a Chris Wood, Kovacic, again, as previously discussed, could have been Rodri. And then the 2 cheaper defenders, Gehi or Aina. I mean, luckily enough, we've got an Aina 17-pointer to look at, but yeah, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that that could have been picked. So let's have a look and see where these points came from. So on the first Friday of the season, way back on August the 16th, I think it was, we had Manchester United 1, Fulham 0. So Onana's captain there, 9-pointer, clean sheet, no bonus. So it's just 7th clean sheet and 2 for appearance. Then on to Saturday, we have Mo Salah there, a goal and an assist, 3 shots on target for 13 pointers. Then on the Sunday, this was Kovacic's game, so across the board really, a goal, a shot on target, passing bonus and tackles bonus for 13. Then on Monday Night Football, didn't have the best captain there. Porro was, he scored the goal, but we still had 89 passes, which has been assigned for Romero. Very good throughout the rest of the season. So there he is with 5 points, doubled up to 10. Game week 2, it's Romero again, and this was a big haul. So we have there 22 points. He scored, 2 shots on target, 90 passes, and 6 tackles for, what's that? That's 8 tier points, and a goal, and a clean sheet, and the appearance points. 22 points there for Romero. Then on the Sunday in game week 2, it's Palmer. I mean, if you have Madawaki as well, even better, but Palmer there, a goal and 3 assists, shot on target, 17 points. Then on game week 3, this is Haaland, hat-trick, 4 shots on target for a 20-pointer. Then on the Sunday, back to Salah. So 2 assists and a goal away at Manchester United. That's 14 points with a shot on target. Then the following week, it's Haaland again. 2 goals at home to Brentford, 4 shots on target, 15-pointer. And then we have on the Sunday, we only have 5 points again from Romero. He got shot on target, 2 passing bonus, and that was it. As Arsenal won 1-0. Then the following week, it's Onana again, 11-pointer, clean sheet away to Crystal Palace, and 2 save points for 11 all in all. Then we have Haaland. This is at home to Arsenal on the Sunday in game week 5. So he scored a goal, 3 shots on target for 10 altogether. Now it is the Palmer show. This was the 29-pointer in Saturday game week 6. So he's got 4 goals, 5 shots on target, 29 points altogether. Then we have, this is Romero on the Sunday away at Manchester United. So Spurs won 3-0, so I've got a clean sheet and 107 passes for 3 tier points for Romero. Now we're on, this is Kovacic. This is where he scored 2 goals in the 3-2 win over Fulham. So 2 shots on target, 2 goals, 78 passes, 19 points. Then on one of the dreariest Super Sundays I've ever seen, Onana to the fore again. United drew 0-0 away at Aston Villa. So Onana there, no save points, but clean sheet and 2 appearance points for 9 altogether. Then we have Romero. This is a Spurs 4, West Ham 1. So 2 tackle tiers, 2 passing tiers, nothing else, 6 points altogether for Romero. Then we have Wolves 1, Manchester City 2. This is Gvardiol, 13 points. So he scored a goal, shot on target and 111 passes, 13-pointer there. Then we're into Chris Wood. This was the first of the back-to-back single game days. So Chris Wood there, 2 shots on target and a goal, 9 points. And then in the second game, 2 shots on target but 2 goals for 14 points. So it's 9, 23, 46 points there as captain for those people that had him. Then we're on to, well, it's either Haaland or Gvardiol. 1-0 win for Manchester City against Southampton. Quick slip of tea. So Gvardiol, 96 passes for a tier 3 and a clean sheet for 10 points, or Haaland, 4 shots on target for tier 3 and a goal, so 10 points either way. Then on the Sunday, Arsenal 2, Liverpool 2. This was 9 points for Mo Salah, 2 shots on target and a goal for 9 points altogether. Then we have Nottingham Forest 3, West Ham 0. This is where Aina, he scored 17 points and we would have had him as captain. So 4 tackles, clean sheet, shot tier and a goal for 17 altogether. And then on Sunday in game week 10, we either had Palmer or Onana, only 2 points each. So Palmer, 29 passes, 1 tackle, no shots on target, so just an appearance points. Onana, only 2 saves, so no tier, just appearance points as well, 2 points. Then the Monday Night Football, last week, we have Smith Rowe, so he scored 4, so doubled up to 8, so 1 shot on target, 59 passes. The biggest scorer that day was Wilson, came off the bench for 14 points, 2 goals, 2 shots on target, but I couldn't find enough points going back there to make him worth getting in. And then the weekend just gone, so Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 0, so it's just Mo Salah there, goal and assist for 11-pointer. And then on Sunday, This is Onana again. So this time it's Manchester United 3, Leicester 0. Onana has 5 saves for 3 tier points, plus a clean sheet for 7 and appearance points of 2, making 12 all in all. So the missing fixture days, these are where we missed out if you'd have had this team of the season. So reading from right to left, game week 4, we had Romero for his 5 points, but if you had had Gabriel, who wasn't all that popular at the start of the season, but once he scored a couple of goals, he's been getting a bit more popular. That would have been a 15-pointer that day. He scored, clean sheet, appearance points, and a shot on target. Single game day in game week 6 is Bournemouth against Southampton. Nobody in the team of this year was from either of those two clubs, but if we'd have had somebody, could have had Cook, 2 assists for 10 points, Utara, who had a goal for 8 points, Tavernier, who was popular at the time, cheap, 2.8 I think, an assist for 5, and either Semenyo or Evanilson, who both scored for 8 and 9 due to shots on target respectively. Then in game week 10, both Spurs 4, Villa 1. So Solanke, if you held on to him there, he had 2 goals, 3 shots on target for a 15-pointer. And then the Manchester United against Chelsea game where we only had Onana or Palmer, then that was the day for Bruno Fernandes, who had an 11-pointer. So 2 fairly popular Sky Cloud style picks there. Solanke because he's cheap, and Bruno because we know how good he is. They were 2 that we missed out on. But overall, if we see how many points there are that we scored, so that was 1,129. We can do without getting 10, 15 or so really from the other players. So yeah, it was just a quick run through a team that could have been picked, how well it would have done. Makes you think that maybe we look too much into these things. Good players are good players for a reason, and then you only need a few sort of bits and pieces players, the cheaper end, the enabler types to fill out your team. And if you're lucky enough that someone like Aina gets you a 17-pointer and you can captain him on that day, then even better. So that's it for this week, folks. As previously trailed, we'll be back next week with sort of a preview of the Dream Team Planner. I'll put that out on this channel anyway. And we'll be back a week today and next Friday with Friday Night Live, the preview for Game Week 12 as the games return after the international break. So enjoy the football over the weekend. Enjoy the rugby if that's your choice. And hopefully England will win Sunday, top the group in the Nations League, which will, well, it doesn't really make that much difference, does it? But I've heard that it could lead to a fairly easier group in the World Cup qualifiers, so hopefully that's the case as well. But with, is it 16 European sides qualifying? If England don't make it, then there's something wrong, in my opinion. So yeah, if you've enjoyed the video, please leave it a like. If you want to subscribe to the channel, please do. If you want to join us over on Patreon to use the planners, then you'll find us there on patreon.com, Cloudy Sky Fantasy Football Show. So like I say, enjoy the weekend and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.